Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter. Yeah, thank you. I'm Shari Humes, and I'm the service assistant today. And in our music ministry, we acknowledge the Unity Pop-Up Choir. Yay! We want to extend a big thank you to our AV team, the greeters, food providers, chaplains, and everyone who will be serving us today to make it all happen. Today, our message is with Reverend Frank, and he's going to come up and talk about that.
Reverend Frank, for those of you who haven't met me before, and today's message is, it's about, it's Easter, and interestingly enough, you think, well, that's like sort of a pinnacle day in sort of the whole Western sort of understanding, the unfolding of this Western theology and this tradition of the Jesus path, the Christ path. So Easter's easy, right? And yet every year, I sort of look at this great mystery and have to take a deep breath and go, what is going on? So today, I'm going back to sort of the root of things. And the idea is that there's this sense that we breathe and we're being breathed. We breathe, but we're also being breathed. And there's a unity of the breath. There's a unity in our breath. And if we walk out today with just knowing that topic, that we breathe, and in some wonderful mystical way, we're always being breathed. That's a part of it. And what does that have to do with resurrection? Ooh, this is going to be good. We'll see.
So now we will prepare for our time of reflection and meditation. So please hold the words of this meditation song quietly in your heart. We join in prayer, coming together as many into the presence of Source Divine. We know that the wishes, desires, and hopes held in mind and heart are received and unfold, all in divine time. We hold for all the desires for great peace among all peoples, for greater compassion and kindness, first in our own hearts, so we may expand that goodness with each breath we take. Prayer is a time to refresh and renew to possibilities. If you wish to emphasize prayer for someone or something dear in your life, please feel free to say their name aloud. So we hold these prayers with great intention in consciousness. And amen. Now we will move into and shift into a deep allowing of peace and tranquility. Peace and tranquility just for you. This is a time for you to refresh and renew. Begin with taking a few deep, slow breaths. Which each breath, feel your body relax, your mind quiet. Breathe in deep, breathe out slow. As you breathe, begin to imagine a wide open, calm bay or a large forest of spruce and Douglas fir trees, or perhaps a favorite picture or image of a deep space nebula. As you explore your image, play, have some fun with this. Have fun with co-creation. You're in your own personal playground. Breathe in. In this time that we have to play, we open and expand our consciousness. Take the next few minutes to play with spirit, to refresh, renew, open to new possibilities.
cycles reach and lead. Oh, circle of ancients, come gather us in, losing each other, I fall from dream. Come bend to the river, stones washing in rain. Love caught in the narrows will seize the stream again. Come there to the meadow, grass lifting the sun. All rise with morning, creating dawn. Rising of hope, we as heaven, raising an uprising of hope. Come, friend, I go with you, beyond the road and its end. Turn soft through the meadow to round the river's bend. You carry my story, I your truth and claim. Our lives are leavened to raise again. Who goes the journey? Whence cometh our strength? What all abiding is change forever changing? What stirred in our passion to its witness is true. Where wakens wisdom and all made new. Arising of all, we as heaven, raising an uprising of hope. Arising of all, we as heaven, raising an uprising of hope. Our lives made new, our love made new, our world new again.
Wow. Thanks, y'all. Yeah. What a blessing. For this talk today, we put what we call our Christ candle on the front here. And for the rest of this talk, this Christ candle represents source. We oftentimes say the divine source as a synonym when we're talking about God and spiritual things, we talk about source. But I'm always curious about the language I'm using around things. And does the language that I'm using, or we could ask ourselves, is that helping us understand something, or is it constricting our understanding? And the reason I say that is because the idea of source seems to point to a beginning. A beginning. No, it's the source. It's where it came from. But I want to suggest that this source is not only the beginning, but it's also the ending. There's a sense that a source is something that takes it and pushes it out. But I want to suggest that we may be, and I don't know the right word for this, like divine source. What's the other side? The divine pull, the divine ending, the divine what? Throw a word out. The divine resource. Yeah, what's the end of things? It's not only the source of things, the beginning, but it's the end of things, the conclusion. It's the divine conclusion, the divine omega. That's a powerful image. You know, this is not only the alpha, but it's the omega. In our spiritual life, a lot of the language we use is all about, it's about action forward, but I want to suggest there's also an action that's pulling us to the end. And for example, and I mentioned this already, but the idea of a breath. I'm watching my language. I oftentimes, we say a prayer. In other traditions, I know we might say something. Let's pray. In unity, we go, let's take a breath, right? Let's just go to the silence. Let's center. Let's center. But isn't that interesting, the language? Let's take a breath. Like it's up to me. Like when I go to bed at night, I better wake up every minute or so and remember to take a breath. It's there for us. It's happening anyhow. You don't have to take it. There's a givingness in it. There's a receiving of it. And all these kind of things, and I want to talk about these things in kind of a bigger way, like if you want to use the word, a spiritual way. But all these spiritual things have a biological correlate, right? I mean, breathing, you could understand scientifically, like in the brainstem, there's this function, it's biological, it helps us breathe. But there's also the sense, and you can go right back to the start where this source divine God, Yahweh, says, I took the earth and God breathed it. And it enlivened. The thing is, was that just one time, or is that what's going on all the time? That we're being breathed? I want to suggest that in this world, I'm going to use some scarves here. And when we breathe, we know we're in this atmosphere, this place where there's an energy to exchange, air to exchange. This scarf represents the field of the atmosphere, where there's the breath. But what's interesting, not only in the atmosphere, once I have breath and I'm breathing with source is breathing me and I'm breathing, so I'm in this field. Not only that, there's another field, and then with that source, now we're alive. We're alive, we're in the biosphere, right? So on top of the atmosphere, there's this sphere of living things, because not only am I breathing in and breathing out, but then you find out that I breathe out, carbon dioxide, and all these trees, they breathe in the carbon dioxide and they breathe out oxygen, and I breathe oxygen, I give it back. Now we realize we're in this connected family. It gets more complex. There's a higher level of complexity. And so we start seeing that we're all engaged and it's coordinated. And not only on top of this atmosphere and this biosphere, there's like an ecosphere. Yes, I got a green one for that, right? So overlaid on these other spheres is this ecosphere, and we start seeing these levels of complexity. So who's doing it? When I breathe, we see there's this source, or maybe also this ending, this alpha, this omega that's part of this process. There's also this biology. There's me. There's all the biology of this entity. I go, Frank, this, which is also connected in every way with all of this. We breathe each other. And we're all it's one big, just look at these plays of conscious, these plays of nested, like nested scarves, and they stand apart, but they're also make this mosaic and they play together. And it goes on and on. There's another one, like memory. We say, am I breathing or is it breathing me? Is breath in me? Is it what I do, or is what the ecosystem's doing to me, through me? Is what source is doing to me? How about your memory? Where's memory? Oh, the memory's in me, right? And there's a physical correlate, and scientists look and they see that the neurons, the neural pathways, and so there's something of it that's happening in me. But I suggest that memory also plays into a field. Well, I don't suggest it. People wiser than me have suggested this to me, and I go, oh, I get that. One of my, someone I really appreciate, a sort of a mystic, someone who describes, this is Rupert Sheldrake, and he says, I'm going to propose, there's a hypothesis, but there's like a morphic field, he calls it. And your memories, not only is there a physical correlate, but there is something about memory that goes beyond, my memories go beyond me, and your memories go beyond you, and we're connected in this field where our memories are playing with each other. I've had experiences, maybe you have too, I've had experiences with ancestors. Going back so far in my past, I can't even tell you, but there's a resonance of things that have happened in my family, in what has come through me that now shows up for me to what? To be healed, to be appreciated. Part of what I am is what ancestors years before me, and there's a DNA aspect too. There's something that's expressing in the physical, but it's more than that. I suggest it's more than that. Memories going back eons, many generations still inform me. And what I am doing now, my life and the way I choose to show up and the way this life of mine plays out is going to impact the generations of people I've had influence on, my family, and also other people I've had influence on, and that's going to go for generations. There's more than biology and memory. There is a field, if you will. Rupert Sheldrake called that the morphogenic field, but there's another mystic who I really appreciate. I've talked about him many times. This person, his name's Teilhard de Chardin. Many of you know Teilhard's work, this mystic, a contemporary mystic. And Teilhard talks about there's another field that holds this play of consciousness. This whole field of the interconnected and express. And as we grow, as we learn, as we share memories, as we arise in understanding, there's something happening. He called it another sphere. He called it the new sphere, Noos sphere. And this new sphere means like it's like a mind, or it's a consciousness sphere. And he talked about how, and by the way, all these levels of consciousness, I'm going to lay this new sphere over the ecosphere, which is over the biosphere, which is over the, isn't it beautiful? These nested spheres of like, And Teilhard said something, I wrote it down, I said, that is so cool, Teilhard. He said that this source, this ending, this omega, has an energy, and he called this power, oh, this is a great word, you ready? The transcendent attractor. I had to write that down in memory. That's the transcendent attractor. He talked about this whole rising in consciousness, this rising in complexity, this opening of new layers of possibilities, of new layers of depth of our realities that sit on top of each other, that this is something that we are being pulled into. We're being attracted to it. It's saying, come this way. Not only do we have source, we have attraction. We're in this beautiful pool, this beautiful play between all these levels, and it's arising in us. It's emerging in us. Emerging to what? I mean, what's the end game? How many layers is there? Here's a fun question. How many more pieces of cloth do you think I'm going to pull out of his bag? How high does it go? Where is it going? You know, it's interesting. We, as humanity, as living beings, we reach the level of consciousness that we reach. And then there's more. But what is that more? What's next? We're in the noosphere. Now where? Is that it? So it's Easter. This is what I got today. This is what this Easter called forth to me. Because I stand in Easter every year and go, that's, you know, that I try to, theologically, there's a bazillion books written about the theology of Easter, right? But every year I seems like I want to start fresh and go, now, what's happening? What do we see? What are we learning? How is this showing up for us? I went back to the stories, and here's what's really interesting. Last week, if you were here, we talked about Palm Sunday. What was interesting in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the four canonical, the interesting thing was they told the story of Jesus going into Jerusalem, almost the same story, all four Gospels. Now, Easter, here's the interesting thing. Every one of them totally different. It's totally different. It's wild. Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus rises, he comes and he meets the disciples, and a few of them are so scared they don't know what to do. They're frightened out of their minds, and a few of them go, they say they started worshiping, oh my gosh, what happened to you? And then a bunch of them don't believe it, go, nah, that ain't you. The different responses to this resurrected energy, this person Jesus who showed up again in John shows up. Mary goes to the tomb. Nobody's there, runs back, tells the disciples. They all run to the tomb. They look around. Nobody's there. They all leave, and Mary stands there like, what the heck? And she sees this dude, and she goes, it's the gardener. The gardener. Imagine what a gardener looks like. Simple person out in nature. She doesn't recognize this next phase of this resurrected person. This is one of Jesus' best friends, one of the closest disciples. Some would say the leader of the disciples. Mary, his buddy. She doesn't even know him. Something in this next stage, you see where this is going. There's something about the next stage of consciousness where things transform and at first aren't recognizable, but then are seen and are inspirational for anyone who wants to jump in on that stage of consciousness and explore. It's an invitation. Yeah, an invitation. In Luke, there's a couple guys, I guess, they were walking to a town called Emmaus, and this man shows up, and they start talking. What are you so sad about? Don't you know what's going on? We had this teacher, and his name was Jesus, and he's died, and blah, blah, blah. And they're going on, and he walks with them, and he explains things to them, and they have this great discussion. They go to dinner, and it's late at night, and then they break the dinner, and all of a sudden they start eating. They go, wait, you're him. They didn't even know. How interesting, though, in all these stories, talking about these levels of spheres, atmosphere, biosphere. What I'm suggesting is I have one more scarf. Of course I do. This whole story suggests to me that there's another thing going on. There's another layer to add on this. And I can't totally tell you what that is. The people in Luke couldn't tell you what it was. Mary didn't know what it was. She started to get a hint. She was waking up to it. The people in Matthew were scared, or they ran away, or they said, that ain't right. Or they said, oh my God, you're just the great. The response, quite frankly, in all the Gospels was very clunky. They didn't know what to make of it. But it launched a movement that the people then called this movement of the way, or this movement of the people that were awakened to a Christ energy. The people were being pulled forward to yet something else, something new. Yeah. So I want to ask you, here's a question. And I don't know, I don't have an answer, seriously. This is a fun thing I'm going to ask y'all. So on top of this atmosphere, biosphere, ecosphere, new sphere of consciousness sphere, there's a mysterious other, or maybe others. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. If I haven't evolved to that point yet, how would I know what's still to come? But this source, this omega point is saying, keep on coming. More will be revealed. More is coming to you. More is involved. And by the way, the resurrected Jesus in all the stories sat down and ate meals with people, had wounds. People could touch him. He also could walk through doors and walk away and disappear. But there was something about in these stories, and I grant this isn't history, it's experience. It's people's experiences that they had, and they trying their best to describe an experience. Something happened to them, and it was embodied. By the way, every layer here is embodied. Every layer here has a physical, biological, human nexus. This isn't escaping from earth. It sits in the earth. It sits in the greenness. It sits in this whole energy. It's another phase of the same trajectory. It's source, the transcendent attractor going, it's attractive. It's pulling us forward. It's the next stage. I thought of calling it the mysterious sphere. That seems clunky. The resurrection sphere. I don't know. Anyone got a word? What is this next? I mean, and if you know what it is, fill me in. All I know is I see it, we can feel it, we get in the energy of it, we can resonate with it, we find the field of it, we're feeling attracted to it, but it's here and it's coming. Maybe you can call it the reign of God sphere. I don't know. Did you have one? I like that. The awakening sphere. The more you awaken, the more you. Ooh. Okay, awakening sphere. Okay, that was coined at Union Bellingham first. Thank you. So we have the awakening sphere. We lay on top. Yeah. So Easter. If you thought I was going to explain it all to you, I'm sure you're sadly disappointed right now. I more enjoy, I got to be honest, it feels honest to me and integrity to me and enjoyable to me, this is how I'm feeling, that I don't have to have it all figured out. All I know is there's this transcendent attractor pulling us to joy, pulling us to the final state of completion. Teilhard would talk. This is the energy of the Christ that started in the beginning, was the Word, was the One, was the whole, and it's the same one that started with pulling us to the end in consciousness, this final consciousness, in this final place. Whatever this is, brings the many to recognize their oneness. Great teacher. Tim turned me on to this guy, Rupert Spira. Love this guy. Thank you, Tim. Anyone know him? Rupert Spira. He talks about consciousness, and he wrote the other day about how this whole thing of consciousness we talk, it's all pulling us to one spot, to one. It's not like you have consciousness, I have consciousness. No, there's consciousness. There's one showing up and experience in there's a biological correlate. I don't understand it. Somehow it's in there. But somehow it's pulling us all to the one. The one started, the one expressed in this beautiful mosaic, this beautiful color outlay of play, of growth and evolution and emergence. And it's pulling us back home to the one. And this resurrection story tells us something about where we're going. The resurrection story tells us something about where we're going. ultimately it's back to one. But what's next for you? There's your resurrection story. What's next for you? Where's the next place of growth? Where's the next place of emergence? Yeah. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter. Welcome to the awakendosphere. What is it? Awakendosphere? What do we call it? Awakeninosphere. Write that down. We'll talk tomorrow. Okay. Blessings, everyone.